The Nun Who Feeds on Human Heart. In the flickering light of a single candle, Sister Agnes knelt on the cold floor, her lips pressed together in fervent prayer. But behind her pious facade lay a heart steeped in darkness. Did you hear that? A tremor ran through Sister Rachel as she closed the heavy wooden door. Her eyes darted toward the altar, where Sister Agnes was shrouded in an unsettling aura. Hear what? Sister Mary asked, pulling her shawl tighter around her shoulders. But Rachel wasn't about to be put off. That chanting, it's different. She glanced around nervously. Last week I swear I heard her say something about needing hearts. Oh, don't be silly, Mary replied, even as an involuntary shiver crept down her spine. Sister Agnes is just different. She's always been a little eccentric, but she's devoted. She wouldn't harm anyone. Rachel stepped closer, lowering her voice. You didn't see what I saw. I found her in the garden, talking to something. She said if she sacrificed enough, she could gain true power. I think she's serious. Sister Agnes rose slowly, her face illuminated by the candle's flickering flame, a smile carved into her lips that sent a chill down Rachel's spine. Ah, my lovely sisters, come closer. I was just asking for divine intervention. Are you sure you're okay, sister? Rachel asked cautiously, her earlier confidence waning under Agnes's penetrating gaze. Of course, dear. I've never been more alive, Agnes responded, her eyes sparkling in the dark. Power isn't given, it is taken, and I'm just preparing myself for what's to come. The Eternal will bless me, as long as I prove my faith. Mary looked concerned. What do you mean by proving your faith, Agnes? Oh, you know. Agnes winked conspiratorially. A little sacrifice goes a long way. With that, she produced a small, intricately carved dagger from her habit, the blade glinting dangerously in the dim light. Rachel gasped, stepping back. You can't be serious. You're not actually— Of course I am, Agnes interrupted, her voice suddenly low and urgent. Power is a spectrum, my dears, a dance of light and darkness. But where do you think it begins? With the heart. Mary was frozen, realization dawning on her. You're going to kill someone. No, Agnes corrected. I'm going to liberate them. It's not murder. It's a measure of faith. Each heart I take strengthens me, gives me clarity. Don't you want to be part of something greater? Rachel shook her head vigorously. I don't want any part of this. You're lost, Agnes. We need to stop this madness before it's too late. But Agnes only laughed, a musical yet haunting sound. Too late? Oh dear sister, it's already begun. The townsfolk are forgetting the old tales of the sacred and the profane. They crave someone to guide them, and I will be that vessel. This heart will beat for us all. Outside, the wind howled, rattling the chapel's windows as if trying to warn them. We can't let you do this, Agnes, Rachel shouted, desperation filling her voice. But you already have. Agnes stepped back, raising the dagger threateningly. It's time for your hearts to feed the flame of faith, my dear sisters. Suddenly, a loud crash shook the chapel, and the heavy doors swung open, light spilling into the room. Father Thomas stood silhouetted against the moonlight, his eyes wide with horror. Sister Agnes, what on earth are you doing? Father, how wonderful of you to join us, Agnes cooed, her facade still intact. We were just discussing the importance of sacrifice. That isn't sacrifice, Agnes. That's murder, he yelled, taking a step forward. You've lost your way. This isn't the path of true faith. Nonsense, Agnes spat, her hold on the dagger tightening. "It's the only way to achieve the divine." "Step back," Father Thomas commanded, his voice a thunderous echo in the silence. "You don't have to do this. Why should I heed your words?" Agnes laughed maniacally. "You can't understand the power I seek." But just as she lunged toward the sisters, Father Thomas raised a crucifix and shouted words of ancient authority. A wave of energy rippled through the chapel. Agnes shrieked, stumbling back. The dagger slipped from her grasp, clattering to the floor. "It's over, Agnes!" Rachel cried, rushing forward to retrieve the dagger. "We will stop you!" "Fools!" Agnes exclaimed, rage bubbling under the surface. "You think this will end well for you? My power is beyond your comprehension." But as she spoke, the walls of the chapel trembled. The shadows grew restless. With a final desperate cry, they engulfed her, dragging her deeper into the darkness she craved, consuming the very heart of her ambition. As the shadows receded, the weight in the air lifted. Father Thomas sighed heavily, looking around at the trembling sisters. "Let's leave this place and pray for her soul." They exchanged somber looks, relief mingled with sadness as walked off.